Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something you probably did just moments ago without a second thought. Standing up, walking across the room.
Yeah.
Simple, right?
Seems simple. But when you actually break down the physics, like Troy Teixeira does in his work, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, Teixeira calls it absolutely bonkers, this constant juggling act against gravity.
It really is a continuous miracle of physics, almost. And that's what we're diving into today, based on Teixeira's The Marvel and Mechanics of Human Bipedalism.
Right. Our mission to figure out how we became, as he puts it, the universe's most overconfident balancing act.
So we'll look at the mechanics, the anatomy, and maybe touch on the why, the evolutionary story behind it all.
Okay, first things first. What exactly is a biped? Just so we're all clear.
Super simple definition. An organism that moves on two legs. Comes from the Latin, bi for two, paid for foot.
Got it. 2 feet.
But here's the kicker. And Troy Teixeira really hammers this home. While lots of things can stand on two legs sometimes, being a habitual, obligate biped, meaning that's your main way of getting around, all the time, that's incredibly rare in the animal kingdom.
Okay, so it's like an exclusive club. We think of big brains, tools. But maybe just walking upright is our real standout feature.
You could argue that. It's a very, very short list of members in that club. Most animals stick to 4 legs or more. Safer bet, biomechanically speaking.
So who is in the club? Besides us, obviously.
Well, Teixeira points out the most successful group, numbers-wise, are birds, over 10,000 species.
Wow, okay. Birds.
But they have some, let's say, advantages we don't. They have tails for counterbalance, their hip structure is totally different.
And they can fly. Bit of a cheat code there.
Right. If balancing gets too hard, just take off. We don't have that option.
Okay, so birds are kind of a special case. Who else?
Then you've got animals like kangaroos and wallabies. They definitely hop bipedally.
Yeah, classic 2-legged movement.
But Teixeira notes they often use that big tail as a third point of contact, like a tripod leg, especially when they're moving slow or just grazing. So are they always bipedal? It's a bit blurry.
Sort of bipedal-ish.
Exactly. Then you have the little jerboas bouncing around the desert. Super cute.
And some lemurs do that funny sideways hop.
They do. But again, the key difference is they can easily switch back, go back to 4 legs whenever they need to. It's not their only mode.
So you filter out the temporary standers? Like bears sometimes stand up?
Or those basilisk lizards running on water, penguins waddling. They stand, but they don't, make a career out of it like humans do.
Okay. So it really is just us who are fully committed day in, day out to this wobbly 2-legged thing.
Pretty much, which highlights just how complex and, frankly, precarious our whole setup is.
Right. Let's get into that precariousness. The machine itself, Teixeira's description is vivid. Walking upright is completely ridiculous.
It sounds harsh, but he's right from a physics standpoint. You're stacking heavy bits on top of smaller bits, torso over pelvis, heavy head on top.
A high center of gravity.
Exactly. All balanced over 2 pretty small contact points, your feet, which are also moving.
He calls this a barely stable meat tower. I love that.
It's a perfect description. And to stop that tower from just, face planting constantly, our whole skeleton had to be rebuilt, completely different from our quadrupedal ancestors.
Where does that rebuilding start? The spine.
That's ground zero, absolutely. Think about a dog or a cat. Their spine is like a simple, strong bridge, mostly horizontal.
Makes sense. Stable.
Ours, it's this S-shaped curve. Wildly different. It does 2 critical things. 1, it positions our head and shoulders right over the pelvis, helping with balance.
Hi.
And 2, those curves act like springs. They absorb the shock every single time your heel hits the ground. Without that, the impact would go straight up to your skull.
But that S-curve, it's not perfect, is it?
Far from it. Teixeira even jokes it's technically still in beta testing.
Huh. That explains a lot.
It really does. It's why lower back pain is almost a universal human complaint. That complex curve is strong, but it's also inherently less stable than a simple arch, a definite trade-off.
Okay, moving down from the spine, the pelvis. Also totally different from, say, a chimp's.
Completely. A chimp's pelvis is long and narrow. Ours became short, wide, and distinctly bowl-shaped.
Why a bowl?
To hold everything in. When you stand upright, gravity pulls your internal organs downwards. That bowl shape creates a sturdy platform to support your guts. Without it, well, things would just sort of slide out.
Ah, okay. Good design feature then. Very necessary.
Crucial. And connected to that pelvis, we have to talk about the glutes, the butt muscles.
Yes. Teixeira says we have the meatiest butt muscles in the primate world.
We absolutely do. And it's not primarily for generating power, like you might think. Their main job, Stability.
Stability. Yeah.
When you walk, there's a moment where all your weight is on one leg while the other swings forward. Your trunk naturally wants to tilt or rotate over the standing leg. The gluteus maximus fires powerfully to prevent that collapse. It keeps your torso upright and stable.
So they're like balance muscles. Super important ones.
The unsung heroes of walking upright? Absolutely.
And then the legs. Obviously
Yeah.
important. Teixeira mentions they're absurdly long.
Relatively speaking, yeah. But the really key feature isn't just length, it's the angle. Look at your thigh bone, the femur. It doesn't go straight down.
Right. It angles inwards towards the knee.
Exactly. That's called a valgus angle. It brings our knees almost directly under our center of gravity.
Why is that important?
Think about a chimp walking. Their knees are wider apart, so they have this side-to-side swagger, shifting their weight dramatically with each step. Our inward-angled femurs let us keep our weight centered, making walking much more efficient and less wobbly.
Okay, that makes sense. And there's something about locking knees.
Yeah, another neat energy-saving trick. We can fully extend or lock our knees when standing still. This means the bones bear the weight, not the muscles, reducing the energy needed just to stand there.
Clever. But Teixeira seems particularly impressed with the feet, calls them engineering marvels.
They really are totally different from 8 feet, which are flat, flexible, almost like extra hands.
Ours are pretty rigid in comparison.
Right. They have those distinct arches, longitudinal and transverse, held up by incredibly strong ligaments. They're not just platforms, they're dynamic structures.
As so.
When you walk, your foot rolls from the heel strike to the toe off. As you do that, the arches flatten slightly, storing elastic energy like a spring.
Oh.
Then as you push off, that energy is released, helping to propel you forward. It's a fantastic shock absorber and energy return system. Makes long-distance walking much more efficient.
Wow. Okay, so the hardware bones, muscles, feet is incredibly specialized. But none of it works without the control system, right? The software.
Absolutely not. You could have the perfect structure, but without the brain constantly managing it, you'd fall over instantly.
How does it manage it?
It's an amazing feat of processing. Deep inside your inner ear, you have 3 fluid-filled semicircular canals. Think of them like tiny biological gyroscopes.
No?
They detect every little tilt, turn, or acceleration of your head and send that info straight to the brain. At the same time, you have receptors called proprioceptors all through your muscles and joints.
Proprio what now?
Proprioceptors. They constantly report back to the brain about limb position, joint angles, muscle tension. Just a flood of data about where every part of your body is in space.
So the brain is getting all this info
Mm-hmm.
from ears, muscles, joints.
Billions of signals per second, and it integrates all of it instantly and sends out commands for thousands of tiny, subtle muscle adjustments to keep you balanced. Micro corrections.
It's like autopilot for walking.
But way more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Teixeira says it's stabilization software that would make a Segway jealous. And he's not wrong. It's running constantly, even when you're just standing still.
That's incredible. Okay, so we have this ridiculously complex how, but the big question is why? Why did evolution favor this unstable, complicated way of moving?
Yeah, that's the million-year question. Evolution doesn't make choices. It favors what works for survival and reproduction in a given environment. And the environment was changing dramatically for our ancestors 6-7 million years ago. Less forest, more open savanna.
Which brings us to the classic explanation, the savanna hypothesis.
Right. The idea that standing tall helped us see over the tall grass, spot predators, find resources. Makes intuitive sense.
But Teixeira highlights another angle of that, related to the sun.
Yes, thermoregulation. This is crucial. If you're a quadruped walking under the hot African sun, your entire back is exposed, a huge surface area getting baked.
Okay.
But stand up, and suddenly only your head and shoulders get the direct, intense midday sun, much less surface area exposed.
So it helped us stay cooler.
Exactly. And this likely drove other changes, like developing much better sweating capabilities and losing most of our body hair. It all fits together.
Okay, seeing and staying cool. What else? The hands, right. That seems huge.
Definitely a major advantage. Once your hands aren't needed for walking, they're free. Free to carry things, food, water, babies.
And tools.
And tools, making them, using them. Teixeira points out this likely created a feedback loop. Better walking freed the hands for better tools, which maybe required more carrying, which favored even better walking. You see how it builds?
Yeah, a positive cycle.
Then there's the theory you mentioned liking energy efficiency, the dark horse.
It seems counterintuitive because we're not fast sprinters.
We're definitely not sprinters. A chimp would, as Teixeira puts it, absolutely smoke us in a sprint.
Right.
But over long distances, Bipedal walking is remarkably energy efficient, much more so than knuckle walking for a chimp covering the same ground.
So we became endurance specialists.
The ultimate endurance athletes of the primate world. This might have enabled persistence hunting, literally running prey animals down over miles until they collapse from exhaustion or heat stroke.
Wow, that's a powerful advantage.
Huge. And linking back to the free hands, there's the provisioning hypothesis.
Carrying food back.
Exactly. Being able to efficiently walk long distances, carrying food back to a mate or offspring gives a massive reproductive edge. Texera calls it the prehistoric equivalent of bringing home a dozen roses. It supports pair bonding, parental investment, really fundamental stuff.
Okay, so lots of potential advantages stacking up. Seeing, cooling, hands, efficiency, carrying stuff.
Yeah.
But evolution always has trade-offs, right? You don't get this massive redesign for free.
Never for free. There are always costs. We've already mentioned speed and agility. We gave those up. We're also terrible climbers compared to other apes.
True. My climbing days are over.
But the most significant, unavoidable cost, it relates to childbirth.
Because of the pelvis changes.
Precisely. That nice, stable, bowl-shaped pelvis that's great for walking and holding our organs. It created a narrower birth canal.
Just as human babies were evolving bigger brains.
Exactly. A terrible combination. A bigger head needing to fit through a smaller opening. It makes human childbirth uniquely difficult, dangerous, and often requires assistance compared to other primates where it's generally much quicker and easier. A major, major evolutionary cost.
Wow. And then there's the everyday costs, the aches and pains.
Right back to the beta testing idea. The S-curve spine, the stress on the knees from that valgus angle, the complex structure of the feet. It all sets us up for chronic issues. Back pain, knee problems, fallen arches, hip joints wearing out.
Our bodies are held together by tension, as Texera says.
It's a good way to put it. It's a system under constant strain, and when one part starts to fail, it can throw the whole delicate balance off.
So, pulling this all together, after diving into Troy Texera's work, what's the big takeaway?
I think it's a profound appreciation for the mundane. The next time you just stand up and walk across the room, take a second, realize the sheer absurd complexity of what your body and brain are doing automatically.
This fragile, brilliant, wobbly tower.
Exactly. Bipedalism is arguably what made us us. It unlocked the hands for tools, drove changes in our cooling systems, maybe even influenced our social structures through provisioning and endurance. It's fundamental.
And realizing you're running this incredibly sophisticated stabilization software second by second without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Often while texting or drinking coffee.
Right. You're multitasking on top of performing a continuous high-level athletic feat.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening, something to chew on.
Well, if Texera is right that our anatomy is, in some ways, still in beta testing and we know it's inherently unstable, what does that suggest?
About how we live in these bodies today.
Yeah. Doesn't it highlight the importance of maybe being a bit more conscious about how we move? Thinking about core strength, posture, just basic self-awareness. We're navigating the modern world using this ancient, incredible, but high-maintenance biological machine.
So we need to be mindful pilots of our own meat towers.
Maybe so. It's something to mull over next time you're out for a walk. And maybe, as Texera advises, stretch your lower back occasionally. Your beta-tested spine will thank you.
Good advice. Thanks for this fascinating deep dive.
My pleasure. It's truly amazing stuff.